They're gonna be able to hear you.
Huh?
They're gonna hear you.
What?
So shh.
What am I doing? What am I doing? Can I go there?
They'll see you.
Oh, I'm gonna wash the dishes.
Alright, I'm just waiting for people to show up. Well, if you pop into the chat, just say hello and we can start putting some teams together. So, if anybody has any teams or anything they'd like to show, this stream is meant to be interactive, so it's not gonna be just me kind of going off doing my own thing. This is all built off you guys. Hey, how's it going, man? Long time no see. Thanks for stopping by. Looks like nobody's in here just yet, so I know it's too hard for you to put these teams together. Anything you wanted to see? Yeah, usually the beginning of the stream starts out kind of slow. Not 100% sure why, but I guess people just don't like to come in at the beginning. That's fine. I don't mind hanging out, just doing nothing. How did your war go today? We actually took over first place for Gold League on our server, so we're looking strong. As long as we perfect the rest, we're good. Yeah, not much. Yeah, I figure it's what, day 4 for you guys, so there's probably not much going on. I think it was just day 2 for us, so it was easy 4,200. Yeah, thanks. You throw an Ishmael into the mix. Well, my Ishmael is missing glyphs. Rufus, Tristan, Yasmin, Ishmael. Why not Nebula, right? Because then she'd buff both Ish and Yasmin. Rufus, Tristan, something like this. And she keeps negative effects off them, keeps them hitting tough. My Ishmael's still a little, like I said, kind of iffy. That's why I'm really waiting for that Valkyrie event so I can get his armor penetration artifact max. Because right now he's under 15k armor pen. What should I hit it with? I'm not hitting that with Kark Tank, I'll tell you that. Poor Kark. 81k. I wonder if actually, what is Zisha's armor? Do you know? I just don't feel like going out and looking at the stat screen. I know Helios probably has way more armor because he's at like something absurdly high for a caster. He's like, I think Judge is 9k, so Helios is probably somewhere around 4, maybe 5. I was just trying to think of some other. Helios is no. What's Zisha's armor? It's not 11k. Or is that Helios's armor? I'm trying to think of I wonder. Oh no, not Ishmael. No, because I'm trying to think of some way to. It's like I want to use Zisha here, but I also want to protect her from Yasmin. I don't know. I'm just like thinking out loud here. Don't the skeletons get Jet's buff? I forget. Maybe not. Let's see. Cleaver does a lot of damage. He'll disrupt Nebula, but yeah, Tristan is way too good. So what even was that damage chart? I feel like that. I mean, Yasmin definitely did a ton, but I feel like the rest is probably a mix between Tristan and Ish. Tristan hits pretty hard. Actually, Tristan didn't do anything. Wow, Rufus did. How did Rufus do all that damage? I guess he got Nebula buffed when Cleaver hooked her, and then his Nebula buffed Dot. just, I guess, does a ton of damage. That's pretty interesting. Something fun to consider. I see we've got a couple more viewers in the chat, or at least watching, kind of lurking at the moment. Anybody else out there have any teams they want to try out? You want to take it, or I should say, you want to take a crack at this team, the one that was just up. Rufus, Tristan, Yasmin, Ishmael. I don't know why I just put it up again. It was already up. So who wants to take a crack at this team? A very small part of me wants to throw twins at it, but I know it's not safe. But it just feels so right. You just, maybe not, yeah, I guess Astaroth. I was going to say maybe not Astaroth, but definitely Astaroth, because they're definitely gonna... The No Jorgen challenge? Okay. So, I mean, Tristan's still... Oh, look at that. Let's see. Can they get him, though? Probably. They always get him. I don't know why, but they... Yep, there we go. Look at that. Easy. Old Faithful. You just throw that team out. You're guaranteed to win. Because that makes sense. Doesn't matter what the meta is. You just throw that team out and you're gonna win. Honestly, like, I still need to build up my Artemis more, but I really think something... I mean, I just feel like the damage output, like all of her secondary skills hit like multiple times, and each one can crit. So she just does an absurd amount of damage. And then Lol dodged everything. Kind of like Ishmael's dodging everything. But she also has a blind, which is annoying. But look at that. Jesus. Look at that. And I did it with no Jorgen. Hey, Assassin. How's it going? I will put that together in just a moment. I'm just throwing this through again, just so I can see the damage meter. Because apparently, for some reason, we have to do that. And look at that. Artemis still managed to do close to 700k, never mind Zeri doing 500k. But yeah, Artemis is missing all of her glyphs, so that's why she's missing like 8k. So fun fact, all glyphs is like approximately 8k. Same with Ishmael, he's missing 8k. Helios, Astaroth, Fox, Jorgen, Faceless. Oh, Fox, Astaroth, Jorgen, Faceless, and Helios, I think you said? Yep. Oh my god, my cat's crying. Now, I know I hear my Discord notifications. You guys don't hear them going off like crazy, do you? Because I feel like that would probably be annoying. For the stream, anyway. Yep, that got it too. Very nicely done. Although, why is it that Jorgen just seems to rip this team to pieces? Jorgen is too good, even in 2021. It's almost 2022, and Jorgen is still really good. So let's just take a look at that damage, because I feel like Fox probably did a good bit of that damage. I mean, obviously Helios got the free crits, or free crit kills. But yeah, Fox did a big number there. You got any teams you want to see up on D or up on O? Assassin, like not necessarily targeting that team, but in general. Or anybody viewing. Doesn't need to be you. Let's see. What was that team that we had last week? There was some really interesting Jet Thea Martha, I believe it was. Some guy had a Dante team. Dante tank team. I'm pretty sure it was this. And actually defended almost all of the physical damage teams that attacked it. Didn't really do much against caster teams, but anyone want to try and take a swing at this guy with a primary physical damage team? Cleaver, Tristan, Kara, Dorian, Jet. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, Tristan is a really good unit. I mean, I remember when I saw the armor pen artifact coupled with, I believe it's his third skill, or whichever skill makes him gain a whole ton of energy. Maybe it's his fourth skill, but yeah, that skill is just so good. Galahad, Tristan, Nebula, Cornelius, Martha. But yeah, and I remember the developers saying that Tristan is definitely underappreciated for how good he really is, and I'm not quite sure if they were right or wrong about it. I think by the masses, they were correct, but I think were also a large number of people that saw the value in him and were using him pretty frequently. Now, I assume that you meant to use that Galahad team against this Dante team, but as you can see, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit because it's just like a lot of back and forth here, Dante is really hard to bring down. And then even still, Nebula is kind of tanking there for a little bit, and it timed out. So not really something you would expect to see time out, but they did. I mean, they have 3 units on the team with dodge. They've got, what, 2 armor buffs, magic defense buff, and then Nebula. I mean, so I guess one of the things that's deceptive about it is Nebula's physical attack buff on Dante makes his second skill, his dodge buff, kind of nuts. It basically makes it almost like makes it like Yasmin's alt defensively. Yeah, the main reason that he went down is just because of Jet. Because Jet, number one, breaks his armor, and then coupled with that, he blocks all the healing from Martha. So Martha isn't able to heal him, and he's not able to vamp. So that's the big reason. You know, you can see Galahad did 40k healing, despite doing a bunch of damage. The Fox team again. Okay, so the first Fox team that you said. Let me look back. Fox, Helios, Azeroth, Jorgen, Faceless. Fox. I went way past Helios. And yeah, I mean, it's also deceptively tanky because even though it doesn't look like it, there's really 4 healers on this team. So Dante is getting a lot of heals. And his debuff on everybody basically makes it so they're even less likely to hit him because of the dodge and the reduced main stat. So he just keeps dodging more, and then of course all the team of a bunch of healers just keeps him up. Although this, you can't really dodge magic damage, so rip. But that was really the goal, was to try and get through it with a physical damage team. Magic teams kind of tear that one to pieces because there's no real damage dealer, so there's not going to be a lot of counterplay there. But I want to throw up Cleaver. What is it? Kara, Dorian, Jet, Tristan. So my Kira isn't quite maxed. She's missing all of her glyphs except Armor Pen. Otherwise, she's maxed it. So she's got all her skins, all her sparks, her gear, her artifacts. So who wants to take a crack at this guy? Plus Assassin, then you can kind of see how this team looks more towards the end. Heck, I'll even just throw this guy in here for now while I'm waiting. Just as basis for comparison. You have your 2 teams. Your first one that you picked as a counter pick versus the one you told me that you like using a lot in cross-server war. And yeah, one thing people really tend to mess up on a lot is Kira next to Dorian with Jet without Sebastian. Obviously because she's next to Dorian. But the thing that really tends to confuse people is because she's not that likely to crit in that team. And when she can't crit, Helios can't kill her. So when you take the crit element away from Kira, she actually counters Helios. Like she beats mages when she's like that. So it's kind of interesting that a lot of people just associate Helios with beating Kira and not countering the crit teams. Martha, Lilith, Helios, Tristan, Kark. That's an interesting group there. Lilith, Helios, Tristan, Kark, and Martha. Okay, so Kark is the tank. Oh, so now what are you proposing I hit with that assassin? Oh, I guess Tristan's the tank. Never mind. And who are you suggesting putting that Satori line up against? The Kara one? Or something else? I'd be hesitant to put it against that, but maybe not. I mean, he kind of destroys... Oh yeah, not Celeste. He kind of destroys Tristan. I don't know if this is actually what you wanted me to... Okay, good, I got it right. Yeah, sorry, there's like a little bit of a chat delay, so sometimes I may be left kind of guessing. See, at this point, I guess it's relying on Jorgen and Faceless. And it's interesting because, like, I don't know if you saw there, like how Faceless, he has that shield, so he keeps blocking all of Kira's damage. Because he has the shield, Kira can't inflict piercing pain on him. Which is weird. Because he's... Okay, Rufus, Anvari, Satori, Nebula, Heidi. So is that the attacking team or is that the defending team? Well, first, I'm gonna throw that team up that Assassin said real quick. Actually, did I already put it up? I think I did. Yeah, it's right here. And Rufus, Anvari, Satori, Nebula, Heidi. Now, my Kark is only 81,000, so still a bit of work to do on my Kark. Missing about 9,000 damage total here. So he's not going to do a whole lot there. So I feel, I mean, even still, Anvari there, he probably wasn't going to get through Anvari either way. But yeah, I think part of that was just my Kark. So, and let me toss up that team for defensive purposes. Rufus, Anvari, Nebula, Heidi, Satori. And actually, it's funny, I used a very similar version of this team on the last stream, except it was Aurora Astaroth, not Jorgen, or I'm sorry, not Rufus and Anvari. Jorgen Faceless are very dominant. Yes, that is a true statement. That on the next iteration of the tier list I'm putting out, probably later this month, I want to at least get a glimpse of the new hero, although I don't expect they'll be game breaking. I mean, they may be, but I want to at least see them before I put out the next tier list. But Jorgen Faceless are absolutely still on it. You know, twins, of course. I mean, there's going to be a lot of familiar faces, and then there's going to be. I think there's maybe like one or two that may shift around a little bit. Because I kind of broke it up the way that tanks used to be. Like there's attacking metas like that are just really good at attacking a lot of different combinations. Defending ones, and then control-oriented ones, which tend to be good on both offense and defense. Anyone have any thoughts on hitting this team? Corvus Morrigan, Cornelius. Oh man, this sounds brutal already. That trio is nasty. Faceless Thea. I think my Corvus is completely maxed, just missing the physical attack glyph. And I think my Morgan is only missing the 2 defensive glyphs. But otherwise this team is maxed. Dodge. Satori dodged. Heidi's too good. Wow. But that magic defense buff from Thea just completely negated all of Satori's damage. Question is though, can they take him out before he gets healed back up? And it looks like the answer is yes. But can they get through? I guess that question already got answered. Solid win there. little slow. I didn't catch the timer at the end. Maybe 30 seconds or so. Um, but still plenty of time, I believe. Yeah, it looks like 25 seconds. So yeah, I mean I would say 25 seconds is more than enough time to consider it a fairly reliable win. Heidi was doing some work though. 2 million damage. And considering he's basically missing all of his glyphs as well. That's pretty much my roster. Everybody's just missing glyphs. Uh, no. So Giovanni, he didn't block the ult. It was Heidi's artifact weapon, which grants the entire team dodge. So since dodge is, I mean, there's an RNG element to it, yeah. So I guess in that sense it is random, but armor can also mitigate Cornelius's ult. So yeah, in this case it was because Heidi's dodge artifact was active, so he was able to avoid it. What else do people want to see? Yes, Cornelia. Every single attack that Cornelius has is considered physical. Even though he only has two, his basic attack and his ultimate, but both of them are physical damage, considered physical damage, and check against They both check against armor. All right. Zeri, Maya, Judge, Faceless Helios as defending. I love Maya. She is so good. Alright, so who wants to take a crack at this guy? Or yeah, I guess it's mostly guys. Yeah, Assassin, I would agree. I use Fox a fair amount in the teams. Just kind of toss her in there in the mix, kind of set up a team to defeat whoever else is behind Rufus, and Fox usually cleans up. Um, yeah, and so I'll actually do that lineup for you, Assassin, right after this. I just want someone to take a crack at this team since someone asked to set this up as defending. So who wants to take a shot at this one? I can see it's very magic defense heavy. I think the lowest base magic defense might be Faceless, or no, not Faceless. He has its skin. Zeri might actually be the lowest, which is crazy. Doug, hey, how's it going? Corvus, Morrigan, Jorgen, Faceless, Phobos. I'm starting to notice a pattern with the teams that you pick. Why is that? Are you trying to tell me something about this combo? I'm going to fast forward a little bit just because of the slow nature. Oh, I'm seeing some deaths on both sides. A little back and forth. Can they get Zeri now in time? Ooh, I think that was considered timeout. let's go back and see. I'm gonna fast forward that. Because it looked like Ziri was about to either die or burrow at exactly 0 seconds. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen one that close. Her health okay, so yeah, it was considered a timeout. Yep, +1 to you. I have no idea how to pronounce that name, so if you wanna try and get it to me phonetically, I will incorporate it. Alright, so now you said the Heidi team. Fox. Use Lilith. Use. Is that so? Suko. Okay, so Assassin, remind me, is this it's a little hard how that is written out. So Lilith, Fox, Kai, Cleaver, Faceless, is that right? Is that what you were suggesting? I think this is what you were saying. Okay, so Suko, got it. But probably not that slow. It's probably like Suko. Ooh, Fox went down kind of early. That's going to be problematic. And Cleaver's down, so you're pretty much out of physical damage sources. That's not going to be good. And no healing means Heidi is going to go on a rampage here, I think. Alright, I've gotten to where I throw that at everything to see what happens. That's kind of the same way I feel about the Twins team. You could probably swap a support for this and make it work, though. Maybe so. Drop Corvus. So against the Zerimaya team. So you said Cornelius, Jorgen. Oh, wait, you didn't say Cornelius. You said that. And then, I mean, do you want to put Cornelius in? Is that who you want as the last one? Since I said him? I don't know. That's up to you. I mean, Morgan gives armor pen, so that's a thing. Let Morgan tank. Oh, put in Corny. Okay, yeah, you did say that. Good. I was thinking you said, for some reason I was reading that as Corvus, not Cornelius. And of course, there's always the random element chance here with Cornelius's passive skill. So you have, in this case, Ziri got the reduction, but ooh, Maya just and Faceless copied it. That's not good. I mean, it's very good for the attacking team, rather. Alright, so everybody's down but Ziri. That ult basically did 0 damage. She's about to drop, though, for sure. Let's see how this plays out. Normally I would fast forward through this, but I really wanted to kind of see each individual hit there in case something happened, but armor buff with Cornelius ult is too good. I'm gonna put this back up from when I streamed over the weekend. Who wants to hit that? Since the last stream ran into some difficulties with it, I wanted to see how this stream does. Anyone want to take a crack at this team? Yeah, I mean, Cornelius, he doesn't always have a place, but the times he does have a place, I mean, he pretty much makes the team. Or he makes the counters possible in a lot of cases. Corvus, Kira, Morgan, Faceless Cornelius. Corvus, Morgan, Kira. And then Astaroth, Krista, Celeste, Nebula. Twins. Ah, Heidi. Poor Heidi got his ult smashed. So yeah, it's interesting. It's one of the first times I think I've ever seen Satori actually lose. He got his ult stopped. Oh, thank God Heidi ulted right there. And Satori was able to dodge from it. Let's go. Now, I know it's because there was a skeleton standing behind... Or not a skeleton, Faceless was standing there behind Cornelius, but it was funny because it looked like Cornelius got the buff from Morrigan. Alright, we pulled it out with the W. On defense, that is. Sorry, Doug. Astaroth, Krista, Celeste. Ugh, I don't like this team already. And Nebula. After many attempts at running double tank Satori, I already feel like I don't like this lineup. Wow, Watermark got on the entire team. That's pretty incredible. Yeah, Chris. Oh, wow. Chris's ult is just so brutal. Now I want to see that, because I bet you it's going to give most of the credit to Lars, but I feel like Krista really did all of that damage, or at least when it counted. Like, right there, oh my god, like everyone just melted. Okay, yeah, good. Krista got all the damage. Yeah, that's one of the big problems with Heidi. Yeah, no, I know I knew right away it was gonna work. Satori and Nebula, it pretty much is guaranteed to make the twins wipe him, and then add Heidi on top of it for more AoE damage. Like, it's just a really bad recipe. Let's see, someone else wanted to throw Astaroth, Kai, Jorgen, Faceless, Martha. Oh. Kai is a lot of fun, honestly. I don't like his new look. I like the way he used to look. I really liked his old basic skin or default skin because his tornadoes were very prismatic looking, and so I don't know. Like I just thought they looked so cool, but now they just kind of yeah. And somehow Faceless managed to die there before Jorgen did, but Kai's still lobbing tornadoes. And then, of course, this is just going to be easy cleanup. It'll just take a while. So yeah, good counterpick there, Assassin. Alright, let's see. I'm just fast forwarding so we can see the damage meter here. Pretty sure most of the damage was Kai in this instance. I think Faceless got like the one bomb, but for the most part it was all Kai. Yeah. Alright, Doug, can you join the ranks of greatness? Cleaver, Celeste, Zisha, Faceless, Peppy. So, I don't know how I feel about that Zisha pick here, because I feel like she's just going to ult Aurora. But I guess it didn't matter. So what, now that, I guess I wasn't looking when it happened, but did Cleaver like hook people into Peppy's skill? Is that what happened? Oh no, Cleaver just walked into them all. It's because there's 3 frontline, that's why. Oh, Zisha? You didn't see how she died? It was probably Heidi's snake. Yeah, let me play that back one more time. It was probably Nebula boosted Heidi snake. So it'll be probably right after this. And we're gonna look. So Heidi gets the buff. Now watch for the snake. Where is it? Yeah, it's running across the ground there. Boom, 131,000 damage to Zisha. So, just like I thought, that's Heidi's 3rd skill, I think. So it's just like an execute skill, but Nebula buffed, it does crazy damage. And it always targets the lowest health. So, you know, in that case, it's pretty much almost always going to be Zisha. Alright, let's see. So this was a team I ran into earlier today. Let's see how people like it. There you go. This was one of the teams I had to hit today in war. Who wants to take a crack at it? And yeah, I know. It's just got Jew the Hydra Slayer in it. The man who's literally too angry to die. Any takers on this one? Or is that pink skin too intimidating? Uh-oh. First one stepping up, Zeri, Nebula, ODH. Am I reading that right? Zeri, Nebula, Orion. Oh, Orion, Helios, Martha. Tricky. Alright, let's see this. And then I'll throw Doug's in. So instead of the traditional Dorian, since Orion isn't going to be taking a ton of damage, he opted for Martha. My guess is to block Jew and absorb the Leper. Oh, down Martha goes, down Nebula goes, down Orion goes, down Helios goes. Alright, so that did not go so well. Down Zeri goes. The whole team stayed up. Cleaver, Asta, Zisha, Dorian, Peppy. Oh, we got a full Chaos team here. You have a lot of faith in Peppy putting her in the back like that. You got Jorgen's redirect, you got Jew. Guess we're gonna rely on Peppy's damage and Zisha's little blind thing there. Crimson Mist. Oh, looks like the Chaos team is getting through. It had me kind of wondering there for a minute, but hey, sometimes you take big risks, you win big prizes. Doug is the first one to get it. So we have Anvari. I guess Kia is Kira. Jorgen Faceless. Martha. That's interesting. I was using Anvari to tank. I feel like that's a little risky. Only because Jew and Darkstar, that's a lot of damage that's going to be coming towards Anvari. So I hope, plus Darkstar is going to knock him back, exposing Kara. And then, yeah, Kara got done dirty there. Alright, so team withstood that hit assassin, unfortunately. Oh, you're trying Kark, even though my Kark's just a baby. Asta, Kark, Jorgen, Faceless, Martha. That's gonna be, I think that's gonna be risky. You know, we got Darkstar who's gonna expose Kark pretty early on. I mean, he's probably gonna get rezzed, but we'll see. I think Jorgen's probably gonna stop him from ulting. No, maybe not. He got Dorian. Kark got mind controlled there. That was interesting. Faceless copied Martha. Kark is just basic attacking everyone to death. Yeah, let's go, Kark. Make Kark great again. Let's watch that in super fast replay. Because I want to see that damage chart. Actually, I want to, once Faceless copies Martha, I think it's right here, yeah. I want to watch Kark basic attack everybody 25 times. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he is just going to town. 4, and then alt. My god. That was a lot in just a short time. Yeah, even 81,000 Kark. 2 million damage almost. Galahad, Tristan. So Galahad, Anvari, Tristan, Seb, and Jet. Oh, so he said team no respect. This is what you send out when you're just like, you know, I do not respect your team lineup. I just want to run it over. And let's see what happens. Just ran it over. Kai. Oh, Kai, not Kia. Got it. Anvari Cornelia, or Anvari Kai. Sorry about that. Kai, Anvari, Jorgen Faceless Martha. Alright. So we're gonna get that exposure here again. Just actually, surprisingly, Kai didn't really take point there. That's not what I was expecting. Now he did, so. But with his vampirism, he might be a good candidate to take that point. Oh, look at that. All it took was just replacing Kira with Kai, and all of a sudden this became a pretty convincing win. Well done, Assassin. Luck on defense with versus Jew with Corvus, Asta, Kira Morgan, face. Oh yeah, I could absolutely see that. With the stun from Faceless and all the minions from Morgan, like there's Jew struggles a lot with that. So you said Corvus, Asta, Kira. Morgan Faceless. Let's give it a shot. See what happens, Doug. Yeah, I'm honestly really excited to use Kark more once I max out the rest of his stuff, because having only like 21,000 armor, or 25,000, whatever he's at, is kind of bleh, but when he gets full armor, he's going to be pretty scary. And yeah, it looks like throwing Darkstar into the mix here, Doug, definitely did not do your team any favors. Between the crowd control, the debuff, or the buff cancellation rather, so Morgan isn't able to buff the team, Corvus can't buff the team, makes it kind of rough. Maybe. Big boy Chaba. How about something like this? Chaba, Tristan, Isaac, Judge, and Jorgen. Got no heals. Have a lot of shields though. You have a lot of shields. You have armor pen, and then Chaba just being fat in the front. And Isaac's got a lot of knockback. There's a decent amount of physical damage. Armor pen, physical damage is going to get redirected. Astaroth, Satori, Jorgen, Faceless, Martha. Yeah, Satori's kind of mean against Tristan. You got that for sure. Yeah, against the non-crit iterations, I actually tend to use Satori a lot as well. Oh man, and there's two people that Satori's gonna just absolutely level here. Isaac's just chilling in the back though with a ton of shields. And Judge just keeps reapplying all these shields. And so they all still had Jorgen's shields getting double energy. That was funny. Not enough to stand up to it though. Satori was okay. Satori's banned. How about that? What do you pick for that? You banned Jorgen earlier. I banned Satori here. Say you needed Satori for another team and this is cross server. What would you pick? This is the new draft league. All right, we got Jew. What else we got? Marcus, Jew, Jorgen, Sebastian. Okay, what? Just the 4 of them? Or you want someone else in there? And something. There are a lot of somethings you could use. Thea. No, I mean, the silence can't hurt. I'll throw yours in next, Assassin. Ooh, Isaac just took a beating. Now the question is, can Ju get through Judge shielded Jorgen? I am definitely going to fast forward this because this is taking a long time. And Jorgen's shielding himself, so yeah, not enough time in the world for that one. Astaroth, Kai, Jorgen, Faceless, Martha. Noticing a trend here, Assassin. You're trying to tell me something about this team. Yeah, that was painful. I feel like there might be better options than Chaba as the tank here. I was just throwing something in there, but you could probably put something like Cleaver to apply a little bit more pressure. But we are going to fast forward this because this is also going to take forever. Looks like they're probably going to get Tristan. And that's it. Sorry, Assassin. Didn't quite get there. So there's, I mean, not a ton of magic defense on the team, but there is a magic defense artifact weapon. And, you know, like I said, there's just a ton of shielding going on. You have Isaac's shield, you have Jorgen's shield, and you have Judge's shield. And, you know, Isaac's get applied to the whole team because he's in the back. Jorgen on whoever's lowest, and Judge on the front and back. So that's a lot of shields getting passed around. So far, we've only seen the Satori team successful. And actually, just because I think Not Titans, just because I think Cleaver is going to be better there. I'm going to throw Cleaver in. Alright, so what do you guys want to take this with? Anything but Satori. I mean, I like Choppa. I think he's much tankier than he was before. I think Cleaver, the new Cleaver, is on a higher tier, probably, than him. I think Cleaver ascended to the Aurora Zero tier. I think Chaba is just kind of in line with Astaroth and everyone else. I feel like, everyone else is more or less on the same tier as far as the tanks go. You have Cleaver, Zeri, Aurora, who are clearly ahead of the rest. And I think there are some teams that work exclusively with like Galahad and Corvus. So I guess they're kind of like off in their own segment. So tanks and Rufus as well. So I guess Luther and Chaba are kind of they work tanks, but they're not needed. Cleaver, Celeste, Nebula, Faceless Peppy. Not Alvinar. I will get yours next, Mr. Weirdo Doug. Fast forwarding this so you can see. Looks like you might be getting through. How dare you disrupt the order with Cleaver? I feel like that was a little uncalled for. Gala, Tristan, Daredevil, Dorian, Faceless. Throwing Daredevil in the mix. So with Cleaver there, it makes it a little iffy because he's going to start pulling people out from behind Daredevil. So actually, as the fight goes on, she's going to be doing less and less damage. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. But, even still, well done, Doug. You're weird, but you got through, and getting through is all that matters. I assume you wanted to hit that team, so let me go back. Martha, Lilith, Andvari, Cleaver, Fox. That's true, it does put extra healing on Galahad. Fast forwarding a little here. So it's interesting because of Lilith in this case, Judge actually almost died first. But hey, you still got through, Assassin. Good job. And you took basically no casualties. since nobody wants to give defensive teams. What do you think about this one? Got Marcus tanking, Marcus healing, Jorgen offering control, secondary tank, Isaac offering them shields, magic defense, 2 magic defense buffs, but also providing damage and armor pen boost to both Ginger and Astrid and himself. And Ginger also providing damage boost to herself, Astrid, and Isaac. Undead? So are you including Kira in this? I would imagine, but maybe not. You tell me. Corvus, Morrigan, Faceless. Are you adding Phobos? I don't know. You tell me. Morrigan, Phobos, Faceless, Cornelius. So it's interesting because Phobos in this case, I believe, is going to target Astrid and Lucas. Because... Oh wait, not Phobos, I'm sorry. Who was I thinking of? Who targets the hero with the magic pen? I don't know, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Ginger just lit up Phobos. Looks like Undead is not gonna cut it here. I'm not sure why, but my game appears to be stuck at this point. So while I just read the chat for a second. It's funny, you can see Lucas jumping up in the background there. We'll skip that battle. Let's see. I'll take your defense in just a moment, Doug. And you're his assassin. So Doug, you said you'd do Faceless. Tristan, what? Be more specific, sorry. I'm trying to fill in the blanks here. I dropped Corny and Phobos for Kira and Anvari for an undead line versus that. Okay, so you'd still keep Faceless. So something like this. Ooh, Ginger just got melted. Tristan targets by a magic pen. That's why. Got it. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. But yeah, that undead version just ripped right through it. And so Assassin called out a defensive team. I saw Yasmin, Fox, Astaroth, Marcus, Sebastian. Excuse me. Alright, I'm gonna just put all 3 of these up real quick. And then Aurora, Judge, Jorgen, Faceless, Helios. And then I thought I saw one more. No, I didn't. There were only two. Okay. So let's start with the Assassin's team. Who wants to take a crack at it? Astaroth, Marcus. So ODH, I assume your previous Nebula Zeri ODH. Yep, look at that. I called it more of a prophet, really. Alright. Ooh, Helios Gallon. Ooh, if Yasmin had ulted there, I think she could have gotten Orion. That was actually kind of close. So RNG might not always work in your favor there. Let's see. Gala Tristan. Daredevil, Dorian, Helios. So I noticed a trend here, Assassin. People like to throw Helios against your team. So that's interesting. Helios is the lowest armor. I thought Tristan might have been, but yep, he's next, that's for sure. Now Daredevil's definitely next, but ooh, go Daredevil. Who's gonna stay up longer? Alright, Daredevil clutched it. I was a little too close for comfort there, Doug. Alright. So we got two through the Assassin's team, so let's, before we move on to your team, Doug, let's yeah, that was the highway to the danger zone. Zeri, Luther, Andy, Marcus, Thea. Alright, so I'll just remember that one was yours, but let's go with Giovanni's defense before we move on to that. So who can crack this? This looks pretty familiar. I feel like we've seen these before. I like facing a maxed out Helios versus a near max Helios. Why is that Assassin? I feel like I already know what Doug's gonna say. So we could just do this right out of the gate. Save you the trouble, Doug. Probably you too, Suko. Oh, look at that, Doug. I guess your team exactly right. Fast forwarding a little bit. Got a little iffy there for a second. But you guys just kind of reset to neutral. Morgan slowly heals everybody up. But you get timed out. So Celeste, Jorgen, Cornelius, Lee, and Martha. Where's Martha? There she is. Celeste up front is an interesting choice. Although she's actually really not going to take much damage from Aurora's Rainbow Halo, so it's probably not the worst idea. Since there's not real heavy damage on her, she'll probably swap forms quite a bit. Well, I think the reason, Assassin, the reason you have better luck defending the max teams is since they are max, Yasmin is probably less likely to land a critical hit on them because they have higher base stats. And so since she's not critically hitting, Helios isn't countering her, so Yasmin actually gets, she's basically critting outside of that window of time when Helios has a solar wind active. And it looks like Jorgen's going to get the timeout. Oh, 2 seconds on the clock. Alright, you got lucky. I don't think that would happen every time. But you did get that one. I do give that to you. Morgan tank, drop Corvus for Cornelius. Oh, wrong team. Still wrong team. Going through the motions a little bit here. Starting to wind down, but I'm worried about the timer here. Ooh, got it. 11 seconds left. And Doug, I'm not sure if you noticed or not, do you recognize that defense team from anywhere? It's very similar to something. It's very similar to one of my cross-server war defenses. Just one unit off. It's the infamous Khan squad. But yeah, nice defense, Giovanni. Got taken out a couple times, but kind of down to the wire. And then, Doug, you had this team up. So aside from, me, when I look at this team, I think two things. I think, number one, crit teams. I feel like crit would just run right through these teams. And then, other than crit, I feel like Satori would probably do decent work here. Just because, at least as far as taking Anvari out, because Anvari's going to shield himself. And then he's just going to get tons of marks and die. And so then you basically lose the only damage dealer. So you could actually even run Satori and Karik against this team probably. As weird as that sounds. So actually that makes me want to get kind of frisky with this and see what would happen if I did something like this. Even though my Kark's not max, there's really not a lot of damage on the other team. And once his shield goes up, like, that's gonna get nasty. I'm gonna speed that up though. Oh, they're doing like a lot of trading positions here. Oh, look at that, I got it. I got you, Doug. Let me see. Let me see who carried the team there. Nine seconds on the clock. Yeah, yeah, it was a long fight. I mean, I feel like a big part of that was the fact that my Kark is so weak. Because I think if he was bigger, then obviously he would be shelling out a lot more damage, particularly against the tanks. Because my Kark only has 22,000, 21,000 armor pen, I think. So, like, I'm working on getting his book to 6-star right now. I think I only have 97 or 100 fragments of it. So I've still got a little ways to go before I get his book up there. And then I still have his glyph that I need to max also for armor pen. Work in progress. Anyone else want to hit this team? Actually, you know what, Doug? I'm going to give you a taste of your own medicine. Got yourself with 4 seconds on the clock. Yeah, I was waiting for someone to say twins. God, twins are so... twins. Alright, have a good night, Assassin. Thanks for joining. I hope you had a good time. Your teams were pretty sick. I'm just gonna fast forward here because we all know what's coming. We know. We know what the twins are gonna do. Especially twins Jorgen Faceless. Against a bunch of tanks. Nope. 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 Drop Luther for Judge or another good staller. Alright, so you said Thea. Oh, Judge. Marcus. And Vari. And I am drawing a blank who that last one was. Was it Martha? Ziri. Oh, I was way off. Alright. Alright, Doug. Got your team rebuilt and back up here. So the question is, does it now defend? So actually, instead of Nebula this time, I want to add someone different here. Who do I want to add? Jorgen. Not necessarily because Jorgen faceless, but I really don't want Judge ulting. Plus, I want Kark to be able to deal damage, so having Jorgen there helps get past Anvari. So there we go. Look at that. My Kark team got through again. That's one problem you face if you put up a team that doesn't have any frontline damage. You run the risk of Kark tanking. So I'm just redoing this so you can see the damage meter. But that's one thing I'm really looking forward to in cross-server wars once I get my Kark built up more. Gonna be able to get a lot of free kills on teams that are just, I mean, they don't have any offense against the front line, and so once Kark throws up his shield, he's just gonna get energy for days, and he'll just heal himself with all the damage he's doing. What else do we got? Are there common teams out there you guys see that you have trouble with? Yeah, I mean, especially with his new armor skin. I mean, he has 28,000. He has the same. He probably has almost more armor than Astaroth does. So putting him up front when people really aren't gonna, when they're just doing like very minor chip damage to him, it's just gonna make him ult faster. And when he ults, he heals. So if he's never really at risk of dying, and you can still throw healers behind him, then I don't really understand why you wouldn't lead with Kark. I mean, obviously you don't want to put him up there if the enemy has Tristan. You don't want to put the enemy up. You don't want to put him up there if the enemy has Sebastian, and is going to be critting the heck out of you, or a hero like Kira, who penetrates your defenses um, and deals even more damage from penetrating your defense. So you have to be wary of that. But I mean, since you're attacking, you have the luxury of where to put him. You just have to be smart with it. And obviously don't put it on a team against like Celeste or something, because she's going to deal a lot of damage, or Satori. Satori might be iffy, but I would still avoid Satori because he's kind of a hard counter to Kark. Any other teams you guys are seeing that you don't want to, or not that you don't want to face, but that you want to see right now, that you want to face? See how other people handle them? Lever Corvus, Myelian Faceless. Alright. There you go, Doug. ADA outdated? I don't know that they're outdated. Maybe. I mean, they're still effective, but I feel like they're kind of solved to the point where the people that know how to beat them are just gonna beat them, and the people that don't have the units built are just gonna struggle against them eternally. And I'm just gonna throw this. I know you said for defensive purposes, but I'm just throwing this up here to get something going while we wait for other people to try and counterpick Doug's team. Anyone else want to take a stab at this Maya Leon defense? I mean, me personally, looking at that team, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 of the units on Doug's defense team get hard countered by Corvus. So there's that. So I would definitely probably put Corvus in there. Well, that's interesting that I guess it was Cornelius. He killed those two. I was gonna say that 2 of them died at all, but I mean, like Corvus, Morgan. I don't know. We'll put Celeste, Aurora instead of Cleaver. Okay, yeah, I'll put that one up next. I'm just. This isn't what I would actually attack it with, but I'm just trying to think outside the box for a minute. And not just go for easy, obvious counters. That is correct. If you spread his damage, he's not quite as effective. But I'm still trying to hope. Maybe? No, not quite. Alright. Well, figured I'd give it a shot. I don't know why I threw Mojo in there. Just cause, mostly. Cleaver, Celeste, Nebula, or Aurora, Celeste, Nebula. I know you said take a Cleaver out for Aurora. Cleaver, Celeste, Nebula, Faceless Peppy. So instead of, so I don't quite know why you put Aurora here. Maybe just to mitigate Leon's damage a little bit, but I would have definitely probably used Corvus over Aurora. I think your logic was the Cleaver Peppy counter is Aurora, but the other team doesn't have Peppy, so it doesn't work. Nebula, Celeste, Faceless Peppy. So I think doing this will probably yield a little bit better results just because Corvus is ridiculous. And Celeste is going to heal. Meh, not enough. Disregard. Oh. Yeah, that makes perfect sense actually. No, Daredevil, why? Say it ain't so. Cleaver is so big now. I would actually have to use Dorian. There we go. Whose team was that? Is that your team, Doug? Corvus, Oregon, Zisha. Alright, let me get back here. Corvus, Morgan, Zisha. Dorian, Lilith. I mean, I feel like Twins could do a number on this team. So that team got it again, but also kind of iffy. Let's see how Twins does here. It's not Old Faithful, but still a Twins team. That's pretty convincing. Oh, sorry. I just automatically saw Corvus and thought Morgan. Corvus, Jorgen, Zisha, Dorian, Lilith. But at least you know the Morgan iteration also works. That was a little more convincing. I think Twins was still probably the number one go-to there, but that also worked pretty well. Sure, if Peppy would do better than Faceless on that defense. I don't know. We can toss it in there and see. Peppy, Leon. Why am I drawing a blank? What was this team? Maya Corvus. Cleaver, Maya, Peppy, Corvus, Leon. There we go. I knew I was missing one. Sorry, I'm like drawing blanks. Man, so now literally all five of your team kind of gets rocked by Corvus. Rufus, Envari, Peppy, Faceless Phobos against the new defense. Well, Peppy's gonna get rocked. That's for sure. Like, Corvus is just gonna murder her. I guess Anvari's shield helped. Helped enough. So there you go, there's your answer. That team is probably the most convincing win we had. Yeah, that was a whole lot of ult buffs all at once. I feel like Rufus probably did decent damage. Not that good, but at least he's on the charts. Peppy doing work. Yeah, Clappy on defense is pretty. It's one of those things that you spot and you're just like, got it. Let's do this. Yeah, I get it. It's like one of those ones that if your opponent doesn't have the counter, it's good, but it's one of those things that pretty much everyone knows a lot of the counters. Wow. That's right. Zisha is she behind? No, she's right in front of Isaac, but she's behind Jorgen, right? Yeah. Alright. I was just trying to think of team lineups involving her. And I haven't really done the math to see if getting like buffs from Nebula is more beneficial than being on the team with a chaotic person actually hurting themselves. Or like at what point during the battle, like how many rounds would it be before Zisha is getting more permanent, because she gets a permanent stacking buff from chaotic members whenever they damage themselves. So at what point does that become better than any buff any other type of ally gives? And then, from there, how can you optimize that buff but also keep the team reasonably hard to work around? Or do you just say forget chaotic members altogether and just go for buffs? I don't know. Gotta take time and look at it at some point. One thing that I think would be really funny is if Mojo hexes the target that Zisha ults. I feel like that would be really funny. Like if it just happened to be the same target and then they die twice. Alright, so it's not on Cleaver. I did not even catch who it was on. Aurora, Jorgen, Cornelius, Phobos, Martha. Wait, Aurora, Jorgen, Cornelius, Phobos, Martha, not Faceless Martha. Definitely gonna fast forward this fight. Lilith doing Lilith things in the back, so all your DPS is gone. Watching from Mauritius, wow. All the way from, that's the little island off the coast of Africa, right? That is very far away. Thank you for tuning in. Do you have any teams that you would like to see? Either tested on offense or on defense? MS? Ish, Arachne, Jorgen, Isaac, Fox. Alright, Doug, let's see what happens. Rolling the dice again. I'm feeling lucky. Now, one thing that's unfortunate here is my Ishmael does not have max magic pen and he doesn't have max health. So he went down a little faster than normal. But I don't think that team in general would stand up to this. Satori... Satori, as far as defense goes, is... I mean, I think he's best put in teams where you can't really predict the flow of battle. Oh, you wanted that team on defense. Got it, Doug. Giovanni, so going back, yeah, Satori's kind of good where, you have a bunch of damage dealers, and Satori is one of them. So it's kind of like, do you try to counter Satori, or do you try to counter the others? So you kind of make them choose and throw them off their game about guessing when Satori is and is not going to ult. So, he's not always the best on defense, but he can definitely get some of the trickiest defenses. I'm sorry. So, Isaac, Arachne, Ishmael. What was the rest? Jorgen. Wait. No, I feel like I got Ish, Arachne, Jorgen, Isaac, Fox. Okay, I'm missing Fox. Yeah, Lilith Gone Wild is pretty funny to see. I love when she gets so big that she's just off the screen. Aurora, Jew, Jorgen, Sebastian, Thea. Alright, here we go. Don't forget, I was going to say my Aurora isn't max, but neither is my Ishmael, so here we go. My Aurora has the, purposely stunted armor. Jew definitely looks like he's having a good time here. ODH Lilith Astaroth, okay, against Twins and Kark teams. I'm just replaying this so we can see all the damage that Jew did and nobody else did. Well, Sebastian probably did a handful, but yeah. Okay, so ODH, Lilith, Astaroth. Against Classic Twins. This is as classic as you get. Orion being against a team with Jorgen, though, has me worried, just because Jorgen kind of shuts everybody down. But who knows, maybe Lilith is gonna... Well, the problem with Lilith being in position 5 here is she's gonna get super energy burned from Astaroth. Oh, and that's a shame. Orion died like right as he was dealing damage, but Lilith, no, she couldn't quite hang on. Almost, though. And my Kark isn't quite up to speed MS. My Kark is only 81,000, but like he's not going to do a lot of damage to Astaroth, but he will definitely hurt the backline. And you can see there, he basically just killed the Orion, rezzed himself. That was actually impressive that he dodged all the damage, but so on defense, it looks like it didn't hold up to either of those two teams, unfortunately. And I think probably the big culprit there was Orion, because he was really triggering the ultimate of Lars and Kark and Jorgen. Chaba, Gala, Tristan, Seb, Jet on defense. Alright. And then Giovanni, I'll try and put together something with Satori just to give an example of what I meant earlier, but if you can come up with something in the meantime that you'd like to see, feel free to ask and I'll get it put up. So typically, anytime you see a team like this, Jorgen is number 1. So Chaba will crit if he deals physical damage, since I believe his ult is pure damage. I don't think it can crit. But I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it's pure damage. It's just based on his physical attack. Zeri, Dante, Nebula, Darkstar, Kira. Oh, Sebastian got taken out like almost right away. So that's definitely one thing that's interesting is having Kira. She's going to start weakening the backline. Once the backline starts dropping, Darkstar will begin to pick them off because she always attacks whoever's the lowest health. And it looks like we're gonna see a win here, but yep, there we go. Little spotty, but we got through it. It may, MS. We can check it out. Lilith, Helios, I mean, Helios Faceless is already like a pretty ridiculous combination. They do a lot of damage. And it's interesting having Faceless in position too, as well. And also, this is having the Lilith team on defense. So, I mean, you may have a very different result if the team is on offense. Yeah, so against the Twins, I mean, I'm not that surprised. Twins kind of beats everything, so I wouldn't feel too down about that. Usually you need to have either Jorgen or something something else. Like, you don't even need Astaroth, really. Like, unfortunately you do, because you could be attacked by a Kark, but against the Twins you really don't need him. Alright, Doug, thanks for stopping by. Talk to you tomorrow. Alright, so I'm throwing the Kark in here now. So, Kark still gets through. I mean, I almost wonder if using Anvari instead of Faceless would just keep the Kark at bay at least. Whoops. I didn't mean to make that the attacking team. What did I use before? What? I don't remember what I put as the 5th position. Was it Martha? I don't feel like I would have used Martha. Maybe I did. I don't know. I would either go Nebula or Martha. So you see here, adding Anvari over Faceless or Orion MS nets you the win against the Kark team. I don't think it would be quite as effective against the Twins, but at least you win against one of the two. Yeah, doesn't stop the Twins though. And Giovanni, you said Satori, Essa Satori, Leondorn, and Lilith. So, problem with a team like this, and you have to be very careful, having Satori too close to the front behind a very weak tank. So like Astaroth is what I would consider to be a very weak tank because he's the lowest health, and he gets punished so badly against Sebastian and Kira. Both of them have basically bugged interactions with him, and so like quite literally, just without even thinking, I could just throw something like this together, and I don't know 100% because of Lilith, but I might have to just change the tank or something. But like this team, just you'll see it just absolutely runs over Astaroth and then kind of gets right to the back in less than 30 seconds. So that's the big problem you have with a team like that. Putting Satori up front is you're just going to have very high bursty crit teams run right over you, and so I mean I would definitely avoid him. What is this? Cleaver, Elmir. All right, so and let's just see what the other one says. Cleaver, Elmir, Daredevil, Darkstar, Dorian. Yeah, and so see here again, you see a Daredevil-oriented team. As once Satori uses his second skill right here, like you see, look at how far ahead Elmir's energy is. Which basically means he's going to use his ultimate pretty early, and here it is. And once it's up, I mean, now is when the pain just comes out. Now he's ulting again, and everyone just dies. I say that as they get charmed. So you need to find a way to stall people. So like for example, I mean you could also just use Zeri. I don't know, something like this. But even then, or like for example, instead of like Faceless, you could use Orion, because one of the big problems Satori has is his magic pen, and Orion, if you think about him, he gets countered a lot by Satori and he gets countered by Jorgen, but Phobos beats Satori. Satori kind of beats Satori because if the other Satori ults him first, like he ults back and kills him, and he kills Jorgen with his ult. So, and with Orion granting him Magic Pen, that's kind of his big weakness. So even though it's not like a super solid team, like you're gonna like kill everybody, but if people don't anticipate the timing that the damage is going to come out, you could very likely confuse people into just getting run over. And I don't know that it's going to work any better against this team, but I'm throwing it out there just to see. Because this is actually more of like an anti-mage team than it is an anti-physical team. So luckily Marcus was able to, and look at that, it wiped them. So that Satori lineup defended the Daredevil team that I sent. Let's see how it fares against the one that he recommended last time. And so, obviously you can prepare the offensive team based on the defense, but if, we all know that some people just throw the same lineups against everything, so we'll assume that we are those people for right now and just throw these lineups against everything. I mean, you can see Daredevil takes a lot of damage like very quickly, but unfortunately this time Zeri dove at the wrong time and everyone kind of got ran over. But I mean, against a team like that, the crits really matter. So, when they crit can depend on whether or not Marcus dies or not, that kind of thing. But that's just an example of Satori lineup of what I meant by adding in like multiple damage dealers and units who kind of complement each other's weaknesses. Like Orion loses to Jorgen, but Satori beats Jorgen. Orion loses to Satori, but Phobos beats Satori, but Phobos also loses to Satori. So it's kind of like a lot of give and take. But you could still even tweak it further than that and say, something like, Helios, Zeri. So now they might not want to bring Daredevil and Elmir. I mean, maybe they do, but they might not. Orion, Phobos, Satori. So it's kind of like a hodgepodge of damage dealers, this is the type of team where it's just like I was saying, a lot of damage dealers that Satori is going to find the most success in defending, because you know you have to split focus on what units are really the most important to try to bring down, and you're going to get, for the people that don't have a lot of time to train or they don't have the resources to train, they're going to get really confused in this kind of lineup, and they're going to start making a lot of errors. Like, I have no idea how this would even go. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, apparently it went really well. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit, Giovanni. I mean, I've even seen, obviously it wouldn't do very good against certain lineups. I've seen people even tank with Satori. On defense, it's probably not the best idea, but I do not have high hopes for this team. Just throwing stuff out, kind of winding down. I think at 10:30, I'm gonna call it quits for today. So we got about 11 minutes left. Yeesh, this did not work out well for your hero. I can't believe Satori Tank didn't hold up. Who knows, maybe in another world Satori will get another armor skin. I think that's what he got on Facebook, right? But also having Orion on the team with Satori grants him the magic pen that he needs. So he's going to be able to uh, pierce through Astaros magic defense. Rufus, Ishmael, Celeste, Sebastian, Martha. I have a feeling you didn't mean it that way, but I guess it. Oh darn it! You said it before I put that as the defense. Ish, Celeste. Oh gosh, Sebastian, why are you doing this to poor Satori? And Celeste? I think Satori's attorney is going to want to talk to you after this fight. Ugh. I think it's fair to say that Satori is not a good option there. Although I want to see more of this. I want a good unit to fit here. I wish I could have a unit like Alvinar, but he sits too far up front because I want Dante up front, but I don't want anyone between Dante and Nebula. Nobody that I want sits behind. I mean, I guess it's really not what I wanted though. I guess the hero I want doesn't exist right now. Somehow Nebula died. Dorian, Orion, Nebula, Kira, Astaroth. Yes, MS, that would be a good option for Kark. I don't think that would do very well against Twins. Having Kira on the team at all against Twins is very difficult. Yes, Giovanni, Satori can work, but it relies a little on the lack of preparedness in your opponents. Um, so yes, there are much better options for defense than Satori. Currently, anyway. That may change in the future, who knows? We'll see. We'll see what the new hero brings, we'll see any future skins he might get, and how that can affect everything. But yeah, both Kira and Orion are tough to defend Twins. Like, honestly. Because Twins really only need to rotate supports, and if they do, they have a pretty easy way to target down both of those heroes, whether it be through Jorgen or just because they're taking damage from Kira all the time. It makes them both ult at the same time, and when they do, if both twins ult, you basically lose. So it's using those two heroes. I would say that you'd be pretty hard pressed to counter both twins and Kark. I I don't think it's a viable option. On defense, that is. Offense, you can probably work your way around it and tweak it based on what they have, but on defense, I don't think so. Andvari is a great way to start as far as dealing with Kark. Um, but twins, unfortunately, don't have that easy of an answer. Alright, we are down to the final call. We got 5 minutes left. Anyone else got anything they want to see? Satori, Alvanor, Faceless Helios. Absolutely. So just at a glance, my first instinct is Kark would probably do really well against this lineup. No guarantees, but I'm just taking a stab. While, a lot of the base damage is going to get blocked from basic attacks, Kark is going to build energy pretty quickly. And then you see there's no protection against his ult. So you just run into that. So that's the first thing I was thinking when I saw that. Then and so this is just going right back to what he MS was just asking, Kark and Twins. So that's kind of the age-old question: is can the lineup stand up to Kark and Twins? And so then again, you see here. So, in theory, like on paper, that team sounds good, but when you put it into play, it just kind of doesn't work out how you would want it to. Yeah, so I feel like that's the case a lot with Satori. He's right there, and he could just murder everyone, but he doesn't. um, so hopefully he gets Magic Pen in the future. I think that would help him a lot. I don't think it will help him in every situation, but it'll help him in enough that, it's gonna definitely produce some better results for him. Maybe not necessarily on defense, but will make him a much more viable attacker. I feel like right now he is used sometimes, but not quite as often as he used to be. Like there's some very niche teams that I only feel confident using him to beat, and luckily he does pretty convincingly. But for the most part, I don't use him that often anymore, which is a shame because I think it was 2 years ago he was in my main team, but the game's changed a lot since then. But he's still definitely a very good unit overall, just not for defense. Yeah, no problem. And and that's just in general. So you have to gauge the level of your opponents. Some people are, like I said before, they're not going to have the depth or possibly even the knowledge of how to get around him. So like if you're a guild who frequently gets to like somewhere between day 3 and day 6 of cross server war, or you're fighting for silver and gold league, then Satori might be a pretty good option for you because your opponents might not have the team, excuse me, access to the teams that are going to beat him. But if you're consistently, day 8 or day 7 to day 10, you're probably going to want to rethink that as having him in defense. Yeah, MS. Unfortunately, those units, at least in that particular lineup, and trying to defend those particular units, it's slim pickings very unlikely to happen. So, anyway, hopefully you guys found the stream entertaining, beneficial. It's getting kind of late for me. It's been about 2.5 hours now, so I'm gonna cut it off. It's about 10:30 at night here. I have to get to sleep. Got work in the morning, but I appreciate you all stopping by. I hope you had a good time and you learned something. If you did, feel free to drop a like, and I think there's like a bell notification or subscribe button, anything you can do to get notifications for when I do this again in the future. Of course, I'll post about it in my Facebook group as well, and on my Patreon, which you can check out the Facebook group. It's just called Hero Wars Mobile Community, The GOAT. Alright, well, hope you guys have a good night. Take it easy.